Aloha. This is a response video to Flat Earth Asshole. His latest video about B.o.B, just another fake flat earther. But before I get into that, I wanted to share my little perspective on his Stevie Wonder video too, because I've seen this before, and this is not really an attack on Flat Earth Asshole. This is an example. I'm using Flat Earth Asshole as an example of the limited frame of mind that the so-called Flat Earth community is, and how it's grown into this pretty much. Flat Earth Asshole pretty much is a good example of the ego of what the Flat Earth community actually is when it gets into this extreme space of celebrating that you've discovered the key to the world, when really you haven't discovered shit. You don't know a fucking thing about what's going on if you think Flat Earth is the answer to the world. So when I saw that video about Stevie Wonder, it was, now obviously these individuals like B.o.B and Stevie Wonder are in the system, obviously. But Stevie Wonder has been in the game since he was a fucking child. He's been talking about systems of the world before people like Flat Earth Asshole and B.o.B and myself were even fucking born. Songs in the Key of Life, all of the songs that he's written, he was actually the guy who pushed for Martin Luther King to actually make his birthday a holiday in this nation. So all of the systems, really my passion behind this is coming from the fact that the human story outweighs Flat Earth a millionfold, if you ask me. And when I saw that video talking about Stevie Wonder and climate change and all that other shit, it was basically like somebody beating up on a child. Now, this is not to defend Hollywood and all that other stuff, but what I'm really saying is to focus on these individuals first and foremost. Before I get into B.o.B, Stevie Wonder has spoken up for the human story more than most people who are out there, more than the majority of people who are out there to this day. There is more awakening or trigger mechanisms in the lyrics of his songs than any fucking Flat Earth video you could ever put out there. And the reason why I'm sharing this passion right now is because, not to defend him defending climate change and so on and so forth, but to bring light to the fact that he might actually not know about what's going on with Flat Earth. He might not know. And that's where I really come from, as far as like saying like, man, he's really just talking about climate change and global warming because he literally hasn't researched any of the Flat Earth stuff. And that's kind of like the problem I have with all these debates with people who still believe in the globe. It's like beating up on little kids. And this is completely different than the perspective of your so-called top brass talking about in their latest live hangout, talking about the mainstream on Nathan's channel, where that dude Robbie and Patricia and Mark were talking about, oh yeah, I really do believe that both Bill Nye and Neil deGrasse Tyson they just don't know about Flat Earth. They're just victims of the system. No, fuck that. Those assholes are actually the ones actively defending the heliocentric model. They are at the tippy top. They actually are in. There's obviously it can't be 100% chance, obviously, but for me it's in the highest 99th percentile that they actively know what they are doing. They know that they are defending this heliocentric system, the university system, the Western civilization system, the so-called capitalistic democratic system and all these other systems that are a result of colonization. They actively know what is lingering around flat earth challenging heliocentrism. But when you got people on the outskirts like Stevie Wonder, who is literally blind, who literally cannot research, even if he wanted to, exactly the depths and details of people. I mean, he could if he really wanted to, but he literally doesn't have one of the senses that we have. I mean, to my knowledge, obviously, but these conspiracy people get into conspiracy, but he could see and all that. I'm not gonna go there. What I'm saying is that this dude, it's in the high 90th percentile that he doesn't know about flat earth. Look, most of the people in this so-called flat earth conversation right now have only discovered this information within the last 2 or 3 years. So obviously it's going to be a large number of people who haven't researched any of the information and are still in a time frame of defending it and defending all the programs that go along with it, including climate change. Now, when I talk about people who are defending that system, I'm talking about people like Neil deGrasse Tyson, Bill Nye, Michio Kaku, these assholes that actually go on and they take not only the defense, but they take those experiments and scientific discoveries, they take that to the max. Now you got these people like Stevie Wonder, who has been speaking for the human story, for the human perspective, against the actual system, who's been persecuting everybody for as long as he's been alive. He comes out and talks about global warming or climate change, in favor of it and so on and so forth. And just because he doesn't talk about flat earth, you want to attack that individual and totally ignore everything else that he's done. I got a fucking problem with that, because I come from the perspective that the human story is first and foremost. But you flat earth fucking assholes have no fucking idea what's going on here, because you prided yourself in this idea that flat earth is going to save the fucking world. You are in another fucking illusion. You've just taken your ego and amplified it with this discovery of flat earth. And you need to discredit all these other fucking people out here just to make flat earth be the pinnacle of truth. Well, I got some fucking news for you. I told you in all these other videos, even if, when flat earth goes mainstream, it's fucking dead. Your little YouTube channels, 10,000, 20,000, even 100,000 subscribers ain't gonna fucking matter, because the same assholes who lied to you about heliocentrism are going to install another mind control program. And what is it always gonna come down to? The human perspective, the human story. They will install another human mind control program. So meanwhile, while you assholes are playing checkers, talking shit about, oh, well, they're gatekeeping against flat earth. B.o.B is a fake flat earther, and so on and so forth. You're defending climate change, so you must be against flat earth. Before you were born, flat earth asshole, look at the catalog of songs, albums, lyrics that Stevie Wonder was putting out there, speaking in reference to the human story. Look at Pastime Paradise. Spending most of their lives living in a pastime paradise. He's basically saying everything in and around flat earth without actually knowing and understanding flat earth. He's actually speaking about the deception of this world in all his lyrics. But since you can't understand that shit and you just jump straight onto a YouTube platform and say dot 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 dot, you actually make yourself look fucking stupid. Because you have shown how simple your fucking perspective is. The lyrics of Pastime Paradise, in remembrance of the ignorance of the oldest praise. Tell me who of them will come to be. How many of them are you and me? Dissipation, race relations, consolation, segregation, dispensation, isolation, exploitation, mutilation, mutations, miscreation, confirmation to the evils of the world. He was speaking of the evils of the world before you were fucking born. So just because somebody doesn't know about flat earth, it's like a child. Are you going to talk shit about a child who's doing their homework and they don't know the answer? Are you going to laugh at them and make fun of them and joke about them? That's why I don't get involved in all these fucking debates with flat versus globe. Because ultimately it's not about flat versus globe. If you're doing that shit, you're completely already stepping outside of the human story. There's something that's missing there. Talking shit, standing up, it's like a high school kid, kicking and bullying an elementary kid, a kindergartner or some shit. Because they haven't gone through the grades that you've gone, they haven't gone through that information yet. Stevie Wonder's the same thing, but in this case, Stevie Wonder actually went through a fucking high school, a university system, metaphorically, all of these. He went through these systems. He went through the civil rights. He went through making all these albums, saying all these lyrics, talking about the evils of the world before you were fucking born. Think about how ignorant you were before you became flat earth asshole. Humble yourself for a fucking moment and stop playing a goddamn role and realize what the fuck is going on here. Flat earth is not gonna save the fucking world. The rest of the lyrics, tell me who of them will come to be, how many of them are you and me. Proclamation of race relations, consolation, integration, verification of relations, acclamation, world salvation, vibration, stimulation, confirmation to the peace of the world. When the fuck are these mainstream flat earth assholes actually going to see that this ain't got shit to do with the science of the lack of curvature and all this other shit? It's about the lie itself. Spending most their lives living in a pastime paradise. All the other lyrics. Now, this is not to say that some of these individuals aren't also, putting things here and there that add to us enslaving ourselves. Obviously, people who are in Hollywood. Same thing goes for like Michael Jackson. Michael Jackson, all the songs that weren't famous, look at those lyrics. Listen to Money. They don't really care about us. Human Nature. Earth Song. Bad. Dangerous. The whole album. Look at these songs. Those were the ones that were actually kind of famous. Even the ones that I don't even remember. Like Money. Like, go into those lyrics. Stevie Wonder's the same way. But he's been coming from this human perspective for a lot longer. And not everybody's going to know everything. But I had to stand up and say something about this shit. Because that video, I understand where you're coming from, FEA. And I see your intent there. But I gotta hold you fucking accountable for this shit. Because this is just fucking, it's right up my alley in a sense that everybody, not everybody, the majority of people in the flat earth so-called community who are only focusing on flat earth and continually avoid the human story are actually setting people up for failure. Because you are just gift wrapping the flat earth for the mainstream when you keep it that fucking simple. When you have this opportunity to share, to expose all of these other lies, all of these other deceptions that are in and around heliocentrism, which boils down to power, illusion, control over the masses. How hard is that to shift into that gear? I know the people who I'm addressing right now are listening to this fucking video. I know it. How hard is it to shift from realizing that you've been lied to and realizing that you've been lied to in order to control, to dominate, to manipulate your psyche? Not only yours, but of the ancestors, generations, and then add on to that to create these future timelines circled around technology, transhumanism, simulation theory, and everything that comes in and around the fiat currency system and this whole capitalistic idea of humanity. All of these systems sitting inside of flat earth still sit inside of the human story. Heliocentrism is designed to limit your consciousness, to limit your frame of thought, so you may be controlled by the people who control the university system. It's about power. So when you assholes sit around talking about, oh, well, no, it's just, don't talk about all this other stuff. Don't mention any of this other stuff, which is basically what you're saying when you attack somebody like Stevie Wonder, who's spent his entire fucking life talking about everything else. But when you don't talk about flat earth, oh, now you got to be taken out. Congratulations. You just stepped in a pile of fucking shit. And it's your own shit. Baby shit. Because you were too fucking young to understand how deep this shit goes. And this ain't only for you, flat earth asshole. This is for all these other fucking assholes out there who are doing the same shit. Throwing parties about, oh, well, flat earth is just amazing. This is going to be the best thing. Oh, it's so wonderful. It's going to save the day. Let's throw parties and have a conference. That's the most ignorant shit I've ever fucking heard. If you understand what this really means. So that's it for the fucking Stevie Wonder shit. How I see it, and I'm sure a lot of people see this, not like Neil deGrasse Tyson and Bill Nye. I really do think Stevie Wonder just doesn't know anything about flat earth and is just out there talking about global warming or climate change. At the slim chance that he does know about it and he's actively trying to defend the globe model because of part of some other system, you still can't not look at his entire catalog of attacks that he's made against the system for the people, for humanity, which is what I think, FEA, you're talking about when you come from the perspective of flat earth. It's for the people. I get that sense from you. At the same time, I don't know who the fuck you are. I don't know any of these other flat earth people out there. I don't know what they're working for. I know what they're saying, and I know what they're not saying. And we can celebrate from now until fucking forever how much flat earth content people have put out there. But at the same time, have you ever mentioned anything other than flat earth in reference to the human story? Now, since this is why I haven't said anything, and this is why I'm calling FEA out right now, because by addressing both B.o.B and Stevie Wonder, especially Stevie Wonder, because I'll get into B.o.B in a second, but mainly Stevie Wonder, who, if you ask me, really doesn't know shit about flat earth and is just trying to use whatever he has as far as pull to help people fix something, do something, come together, do something. Just stop being fucking stupid and stuck on your smartphone forever. Start thinking about the earth. That's where I think he's coming from. And I really do think he hasn't researched any flat earth stuff. Now, on the other side of that, think of this. Your so-called flat earth leaders, top brass, all of those assholes that were on that Nathan Oakley hangout, they all pretty much agreed. I'm not going to say all of them, but definitely Patricia, definitely that Robbie dude who's throwing this international conference, and dopey ass Mark is just going to go along with whatever Patricia says. But they actually think and said that Neil deGrasse Tyson and Bill Nye are victims of the system. They really just don't know that the earth is flat. And they're just defending their own beliefs in the heliocentric programming. If that ain't a fucking red flag, I don't know what the fuck is. They definitely know what they are doing. If you ask me, how can that be so flipped and reversed in their eyes? Because they're comfortable with this shit and they need that to just sell this mainstream flat earth bullshit. So they can just accept whatever comes when flat earth goes mainstream and just say, oh, well, you know, this is what we have to deal with. This is what society is about. At least it's something. We did a good job, guys. Good. High five, guys. Good job. We made flat earth go mainstream. We'll be in the history books forever. Yeah, you'll be in the fucking history books, all right. So with this B.o.B stuff that's out there, and as a disclaimer, I don't know fucking B.o.B. I don't know that dude. I don't know whether or not he's for or against this. I don't know. All I can do is see the information that he's already put out there and share my basic observation of what I feel he might be about. So, in this case, B.o.B putting up a GoFundMe account to put so-called satellites in space to see the curvature. Obviously, to me, this dude has $200,000. So nix the fucking money right there and realize that the GoFundMe account is being utilized for publicity. It's just another outlet to put the information out there, to have people question something. In the video, he actually says that he wants to see the curvature. So what that's really telling people, his entire catalog of people that follow him on social media and all that other stuff, he's seeding the question of, hey, have you ever questioned the curvature? Why is he thinking about that? This is an actual flat earth experiment, but with the people. Not with lasers and all that fucking cameras and all that other shit. But since some people are so fucking simple, they can't see this shit. So like I said, I'm not defending this dude. I don't know what he's talking about, but it makes perfect sense to me that if you had the opportunity to do something like this, it's not about the actual satellites. It's not about the money. It's about the questions that are posed by having that shit exist in the first place. So nix all that other shit about money and satellites and all that other stuff. And, oh, I'm going to discredit you because you're not a real flat earther. I'm going to make a diss track about you because you're not a real flat earther, homeboy. Shut the fuck up with all that stupid ass shit. Sit your simple ass down for a moment and realize your own limitations. Stupid ass. This shit just pissed me off when I heard that shit. All to just make your little funky ass YouTube channel get some more views or whatever is that. This ain't about flat earth. This ain't about YouTube views and any of that fucking bullshit. This is about humanity. But like I said with Mark and Patricia, they don't know how deep this story goes because they haven't had to experience this shit. So people who get consumed by flat earth and they've researched all these other conspiracy theories and all this other shit. They say, oh, well, you know, it's only about this. And if you don't talk about this, then something's wrong with you. I got a fucking problem with that. It's not only about flat earth, but when you name yourself flat earth asshole, you have to see it that way. You have to defend it that way. And that's fine. But just know, when you start stepping into the human story, when you start talking about information that steps out of flat earth, you have a fucking responsibility yourself to look into this information, to vet yourself before you start addressing this shit. So like I said, I'm not defending B.o.B because I don't know B.o.B. All I'm going to do right now is read the lyrics of one of his songs, not the flatline shit, because that was all about flat earth. Ain't nothing wrong with that. And there was a lot of revealing information in there. Excuse me. But this song, Mercy Me, I haven't even read all the lyrics. I just started reading the lyrics. And I said, that's enough. That's enough for me. Because that's a hell of a lot more than the majority of these so-called flat earth channels who constantly avoid this information. I find it kind of sickening. We send billions to Israel, but shit on Flint, Michigan. FEA. Have you made a fucking video about the water crisis in Flint, Michigan? Have you said anything about the pipeline, the DAPL shit that was going on? Have you said anything about the indigenous people? No. Why? Because you have a superhero that you have to protect called Flat Earth. It's flat and that's that. And you hide behind this asshole persona that's attracted a certain amount of viewers. You have a particular viewership, and that's it. The same thing that happens to celebrities when they get into Hollywood and then they just turn into this fucking thing, they lose their whatever, is the same thing that happens when they get into these naming themselves as like YouTube channels. I'm the flat earth asshole. I'm the flat earth and other hot potatoes. I talk about everything. You hold that space, and everything that comes your way that seems to be challenging flat earth looks like a threat. And instead of going deeper into yourself and realizing yourself, and this is, like I said, this ain't only for you, FEA. Just for all these other mainstream flat earth assholes out there who are just thinking flat earth is just going to save the day. You can't go into the human story unless you go into yourself. And a lot of the reasons why these individuals on these bigger flat earth channels cannot go into themselves because they haven't done the work. So they just stay in the flat earth bubble because it's safe in there. You have a sense of pride in there. You feel like a superhero. Meanwhile, the rest of the world is fucking imploding. And you're still not saying a fucking word about it. A country founded off of immigrants. Now we want to build a wall to keep out all the immigrants. Military exercises demonstrated on citizens. Anti-war petitioning. Drone strike incoming. Homeless vets decorate the street. Can't get no income in. How do you save a world that can't be saved? How do you raise a child that won't behave? There's more awakening information, perspectives, metaphors, analogies in this one set of lyrics than the majority of flat earth YouTube videos out there, because they're referencing the human story. Before you start giving a fuck about the flat earth story and all that other shit, you have to heal the experiencer. You have to share information that will allow the experiencer to go into more depth, understanding, overstanding, and understanding of the experience, which is the flat earth or the not globe earth. The flat earth information that's out there right now makes a lot of sense. That stuff can be more interpreted, more deeply interpreted, when the wounds of humanity that are a result of the power that created the heliocentric deception, the wounds of the power grid are healed. And people like Stevie Wonder have been working to heal those wounds for generations, for decades before people like FEA and me and anybody else out here were fucking born. And I applaud anybody who mentions something like Flint, Michigan, and the money going to Israel, and the military exercises, and the drone strikes, and the homeless vets. How is that any different than exposing NASA? It's not. It's the same thing. It's actually deeper because it's affecting people right in their own bodies, in their own minds, in their own homes, in their own families, in their own cultures, in their own communities. All of the shit that flat earth mainstream assholes continually avoid because they've prided themselves in the superhero that is flat earth. Flat earth is not your superhero. Flat earth can be easily co-opted. Then what do you have? Not a fucking thing. Because you spent so much time priding yourself and attacking other people who are talking about other stuff that involves the human story, the people who are perceiving flat earth, the people who are perceiving heliocentrism, they are helping people get out of those mind control programs, remove those pieces one by one. While these flat earth assholes continually worship the flat earth as if it's gonna save the day. Well, you don't need a fucking time machine. You don't need Doc Brown to go in the future and see that that's a total illusion. The rest of the lyrics. Waking up from the lies, I feel betrayed. I'm guessing the rabbit hole we dug was actually just a grave. Skeletons in the closet, they fossilized. Niggas want the truth, sugar-coated and caramelized. Life is like a science fiction book where the author dies. Well, I ain't dead yet cause the hit ain't been authorized. I hear freedom ringing, but I won't answer the phone because the people on the other end will not leave us alone. Mr. Officer, I come in peace. Just know I brought my peace. And if we can't settle this peacefully, the violence will increase. Has anybody in the flat earth community dedicated entire series to what's happening to the people on the streets right now? To the slave patrols we call the police departments? I'm not saying nobody's out there, but I'm speaking generally, obviously. But a large majority of these so-called flat earth channels, and like I said in previous videos, this is not to have an expectation or judgment on people to do this stuff. But what I'm saying is that when you start attacking people who are talking about other shit, and you yourself are not talking about that shit, then I'm gonna say something about that. Because you need to sit your simple ass down and go deeper than flat earth before you start opening up your fucking mouth talking shit about people who've been talking about this shit before you were even fucking born. This is not to put B.o.B up next against Stevie Wonder. I'm just using B.o.B because as an example in response to the video that you put up, but taking it even further into the intent that was brought about when Stevie Wonder was brought into the picture. Obviously, B.o.B is not the same caliber in a sense of Stevie Wonder. Stevie Wonder been around before the majority of the people talking about flat earth were even fucking born. Talking about the human story. And since people pride themselves so much in this shit, they completely miss all the other stories. And the reason why, one of the main reasons why I'm saying this is because this same sentiment that's being promoted by FEA in this approach against Stevie Wonder is the actual infrastructure of what I've been saying. The ignorance, the apathy that is being promoted by people who are talking about flat earth only going mainstream. As if that's the only fucking thing that needs to matter. As if flat earth is the only thing that needs to be addressed. You will get exactly what you ask for when you ask for that simple ass shit. And when all the other stories that people like Stevie Wonder were talking about before you were even fucking born get brushed under the rug because everybody's now celebrating flat earth going mainstream, when all those other stories get missed out, who's gonna be the ones responsible for not speaking about that shit? You fucking assholes. You apathetic, complacent, simple ass people who have just prided yourself in another superhero, in another belief system. The rest of the lyrics: who now rule the world around you? While wearing house shoes, they clown you. You wear your house or your whole house full. Regimes don't die, they change. They name and the accounts move. Just even mentioning the regime, what does that mean? Saying the regimes don't change. That's basically addressing the power behind the heliocentric programming. All of these, this is just one song. I'm still reading lyrics from one song. Obviously, they're not going to be hits because the people who produce these hits want to project people like what's that girl's name? That shit. The Cash Me Outside girl. They want to put her on the top 10 list or the top 100 list. They want to put people like Cardi B on the top 10 list. Ain't saying shit about anything. Obviously, people who actually talk about stuff like the songs that I said that weren't famous with Michael Jackson and even Stevie Wonder, those are the actual songs that help people expand and realize these regimes and so on and so forth. So obviously, this stuff is not going to be televised and publicized. But was the actual work, were the statements actually made? Was that work put out there? Look for yourself. Instead of being caught up in this whole team shit, who's on the flat earth team? Who's a real flat earther? What kind of cartoon are you fucking watching? This some bullshit. Who's a real flat earther? Sit your simple ass down with that stupid shit. When you talking about that, it ain't got shit to do with fucking flat earther and not flat earther. You're talking about humanity, control, power, genocide, massacre, land, psychological control, mind control, spiritual control, fiat illusions, the very nature of the law, the system, so-called justice of this land has been written by criminals. And you simple ass motherfuckers are sitting around talking about who's a real flat earther. Shut the fuck up with that stupid shit. People carrying around these simple ass perspectives, calling themselves woke and awake because they know about flat earth. You yourselves need to wake the fuck up and realize that flat earth could easily be co-opted. It's nothing to rally behind or rally around, because if you're rallying around anything like that, you're already setting yourself up for failure. Because you're not empowering yourself. Because you've empowered something outside of you that ain't nothing but a golden calf. It ain't nothing but another belief system that could easily be co-opted. If you're not empowering yourself and the people around you, what the fuck are you really doing? You're just creating another dogma, another belief system. So when I see Stevie Wonder spend his entire life talking about the human story, which actually heals people and empower people, listen to the entire album of Songs in the Key of Life, or any of the other albums that are out there. Inner Visions, Music of My Mind, A Time to Love, Characters, Natural Wonder, Conversation Piece, Down to Earth. That's actual Back then, those were the YouTube videos, albums, lyrics, songs. Those were the actual YouTube videos of today, of back then. So before you open up your mouth about somebody who's just not talking about flat earth just because whatever, take into account all of the other shit that they've actually put out there before you were even fucking born. That's pretty much what I had to say with this video. I'm fucking done with this shit, with these simple ass people out here who are just talking this stupid shit about flat earth. Is keep it flat. Flat as that. Shut the fuck up with that stupid shit. You are the ones that are actually keeping people from researching all of the other power systems, all of the other illusions, because of your apathy. Because of your happy ignorance, your comfortable complacency. You're actually setting up another platform for another mind control program because you are inherently powerless. When it's all only focused on the mainstream. When will this shit actually be addressed? When will the tone of that approach be seen for what it actually is? It's dead already. It's oversimplified. It's empty. And just because FEA does it from a cool hip, oh, I can play the bass and make a cool rap song about a rapper who's known out there in the mainstream. Oh, yeah, I'm cool with this. I can do that. Ain't no different than Mark and Patricia talking about, oh, yeah, well, Neil deGrasse and Bill Nye, they're just victims of the system. They don't really know about flat earth. Keep it flat. That's some simple shit. Same thing, same style, or same information, different style. Same thing. Whether you come from this happy-go-lucky, love and light perspective of, oh yeah, it's just flat earth, that's that. Just a new age flat earth perspective, or a mainstream flat earth perspective. As soon as it goes mainstream, everything's going to be okay. Or a Christian flat earth perspective. As soon as everybody comes to Jesus and reads the Bible and then realizes it's flat earth and everything's going to be okay. Or this flat earth asshole perspective. Oh, as soon as everybody just realizes that the heliocentric people are just a bunch of assholes and everybody's talking about this and this and this and not talking about flat earth. As soon as they realize flat earth, everything will be okay. It's not. It's not going to be okay. And that's not hard. See, the only reason why I have to explain this perspective with so much passion is because the majority of the mainstream people who are flat earth mainstream people out there, they're completely different from people that are like in other circles. There's people who are watching this video right now. They don't need to be, they know exactly what I'm talking about. They don't need all of the other energy that comes along with it, because it's not about defending the flat earth. The majority, those people know. A lot of the people that you tell about flat earth outside of any of these YouTube videos and other communities, the people who are already aware that the government has been lying about everything, the people who have been subjected to the people in the streets of Oakland, people in the streets of Detroit, people in the streets of wherever. I can only speak from the people in the streets of Oakland. I know if I were to talk to them, they wouldn't automatically defend the NASA program. The majority of them, they'd be like, oh yeah, that makes a lot of fucking sense. These assholes are a bunch of liars. What makes you think they would just defend? No, a lot of the people in other communities defend NASA because they're defending their own ancestry. They're defending politics. They're defending their forefathers when they defend NASA. The passion comes from that. The apathy comes from that, largely. It doesn't come from the NASA poster that they had or the space cartoons. No, it comes from their belief in the people of this mind control system. This is why they're always saying, why would they lie? How? Oh, I can't believe it. They would not lie. You must be crazy. When on the other hand, you talk to people in other communities who are completely fucking different and would say, that makes a lot of fucking sense. It's a bunch of corrupt assholes. Of course they would be lying about that. That's how I was when I came into it. It didn't take that much. The research was just added on top of that. But when a friend of mine said, you need to look into the flat earth information, man, there's a lot of shit out there. And I automatically went to NASA and realized that .gov shit and what I had already known about the government. See, a lot of these people who are comfortable, they still have that belief, that trust in the government. So they don't realize how expanded this mind control program is already gone. They haven't realized all the deceptions that are in and around flat earth. And in order to realize that, you have to do a lot of inner looking, inner standing. You have to look at yourself. You have to look at your own circles, your own history, which is our story, not the one put through the history books. You have to do something with that information. But the majority of people don't want to do that shit. They can't. Because the hardest thing to do is to change yourself. So a lot of people use flat earth as a bubble to not change and to have the facade of change because they're talking about flat earth. But you're not changing. You've just made your bubble even bigger. You might have grown a little bit on the inside of that bubble, but you haven't popped that bubble and really connected with the land, really connected with nature, really connected with the people who have been victims of this shit before many of these generations that are alive today. Before heliocentrism was even popular. People talking about and celebrating flat earth going mainstream, they have not done this work. And they either keep themselves in a flat earth bubble, a political bubble, a mainstream bubble, a religious bubble, or an asshole bubble. And all of those bubbles are in the bigger bubble of flat earth. Meanwhile, anybody else who's talking anything else, oh, you're divisive. You're a racist. You're this, you're that. Get the fuck out of your simple ass bubble for one moment and see what the fuck I'm talking about. Shut the fuck up about flat earth for one moment. And see that your little golden calf is already being co-opted. It's already not your own. Not to mention, it's nothing to be carried like that in the first place. You've already set yourself up for failure. So, this was just a video to expand upon the other perspectives that I had in many other videos. But FEA, you stepped out. You stepped out of your little comfort zone. and you stepped into a new arena. And that arena is that arena, that the human arena that I've been talking about since I started making YouTube videos. Sharing my journey to talk about the human story and flat earth just being a part of it. So since you stepped out into that arena, welcome. You're either going to take your same asshole approach and get defensive and be like, oh, well, let's see about you, huh? What are you talking about? Or you're actually going to expand your perspectives and see where I'm coming from and talk about all this other shit, all these other illusions that in my opinion, completely overtake and outrank flat earth as a whole. But if you want to still hold on to that flat earth mountaintop, keep trying that shit. It's a sandcastle. And as soon as the mainstream takes it over, your little sandcastle is going to come tumbling down. And it doesn't, that's why I said, in my opinion, it's already been taken over. And the only way to actually help people really see what's going on is to empower the individuals from the human perspective with the information that actually builds up the heliocentric deception. The how of heliocentrism, the why of heliocentrism, and all the what shit will come later. But if you only promote the what of flat earth, it's flat and that's that, the science of flat earth, if you only promote the what, that sets the platform for the mainstream to just say, oh, well, this is what the actual flat earth is. It's this, ... You can sail here, you could do this. They could stretch that shit out for 20, 40, 50 fucking years. Discover the new flat earth. We've been lied to by the cabal and the Illuminati for so long. It's time to step into the new age, the new world. Welcome to the flat earth. And you have all those motherfuckers in flat earth and you, yay, we did it! Sit the fuck down with your simple ass. I'm fucking done with this video, man. Fuck this shit.